Oh, hello. Rav King back again. We're knocking out another one of our interviews, talking to some successful business people. But please, introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about you.
My name is Vasily. I'm one of the owners of Preskitt Eats. We've been doing this about a year and a half, and a year ago we were actually using a propane grill that we would haul around to events and do that. Very humble beginnings.
My name's Alex Floyd. Actually, just to add to that, we used to do kebabs in all of our sandwiches, and we got rid of that. Now we have everything. It's a little bit more like the actual Euro style, where it falls right apart in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, it's magical. It is the best food I've ever had. Please, if you can get out to see these guys, do so. But of course, while we're talking to you today you've had some humble beginnings. You've had some obstacles you've had to overcome. Tell us a little bit about those. What happened?
Well, you start with no money. That's the first obstacle, and you make it work with what you have. Beyond that, there's people who either don't want you to succeed because they're those types of people, or maybe you're competing with their business. But that happens too when you encounter a little bit of a success. And then we've yet to encounter great success, in my opinion. But when that happens, there'll be even more obstacles. But just basically having to work with no money for a year, essentially, to see some results. It's pretty tough. You can't even buy yourself like a drink.
Yeah,
it's tough.
What would you consider great success?
It can be defined various ways. For me, I think it's people eating the food and saying that it is the best food. That they can tell that we put so much effort, that it's made from scratch. They taste it and they're like, "This is something that I can only have here. This is great food." And then great success, that's success. Great success would be like thousands of people being able to testify to that.
Lined up around the square right now, right?
Or in other cities too.
Absolutely. In fact, tell me a little more about that. We were just talking about that before we got on camera. Expanding to Tucson, maybe? Who wants to talk about that?
Yeah. So it costs very little for us to start up a new operation. So our goal overall is to be able to put one of these in every city in Arizona and then see how that works out and then hopefully expand out from there.
So cool. In fact, are you taking any other steps to kind of better relationship with businesses?
Yeah, we're open to working with all of them. So the Barley Hound, a very successful restaurant in Preskitt, has reached out wanting to put one of our carts in their back patio.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, there's a number of businesses and business owners who've reached out to me and said congratulations, and some of them have stepped, beyond and been like, hey, how can we work together? So there are those, they kind of have a common denominator in that they're entrepreneurs, I think, at heart. They have kind of big minds and they see what I'm doing and it gets the wheels spinning. Those people in particular always come up and, ask a lot of questions and think like, how can they work together with us?
Awesome. Would you two have changed anything when you got started?
No.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think it would have helped us. Like there's so much lessons to be learned throughout the entire course of that first year that we wouldn't have been able to do what we were doing without the lessons from that period of time. Gotcha. And that extends throughout the entire rest of our lives.
Neither of us have cooking backgrounds, so without that year of hardship where we're learning on the fly, there's no way we'd be able to produce a product that's as good as what we're serving now.
Yeah.
So, that's advice to anybody. You have to put in like a tremendous amount of work at the beginning in order to have a craft or a product that people will be glad to pay for. Absolutely. It's just silly to think that you can dive into a market that's already saturated with food in our case and think you can deliver something that people will be happy about. It's very hard. It takes a lot of time.
Gotcha. Means of feedback. How do you guys grow? How do you guys know what to grow with? What tools to sharpen?
We have a kind of like a cult following customer base that we're so happy that will reach out to us on Facebook or call us even, tell us the food was great, offer suggestions, feedback. So our customers are our number one feedback source, as it should be. And then we have each other. We've been working very hard for a year and a half. We are basically dating.
Yeah, exactly.
The definition of bromance, right?
It's true. That's another thing that's really hard. Starting a business with another person, you have to persevere with the business and with each other. You have to put the business and the team above everything else.
Has there been any speed bumps with that?
You're working together every day, so that's something that you have to work through. But that's as long as you understand that that's what you're trying to do, it's not a problem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I know there's been some like legality issues, even as far as laws where you guys can provide food and how it's provided. Can you talk a little bit about that, just for anyone getting into this and what you had to overcome?
Yeah, so there's a law that passed on August 3rd. It was a bill that was signed by Governor Ducey on August 3rd, passed through House and Senate. I wish I had the number offhand, but you can look it up. It's called the Food Truck Freedom Bill, I'm pretty sure. It allows mobile food units to park in public parking. There's no restriction on how far you need to be from a pre-existing business of any kind, especially a restaurant. There's no restriction on hours unless the city restricts the hours. So right where we're at right now is 2-hour parking. You only need to be licensed in one county in Arizona, so you don't have to pay the licensing fees in all the different counties if you want to move. Things of that nature. It streamlines the operation for anybody operating a mobile food unit significantly. It's a big boon for everybody in our line of business.
A lot of the headaches taken out of it then.
Definitely. All right, I actually have that. So it's HB 2371. That's what you're looking up.
That's the lifesaver right there, huh?
Yes.
So let's say you two had ultimate power in the food industry. Ultimate money, ultimate power, can make the changes that you wanted to make. What changes would you make for the food industry? Maybe not even just food carts, but everyone in general. And feel free to think about it. You don't got to rush this one.
I have something pretty quick. Making it more known to your average person that mobile food vendors have to adhere to really strict health guidelines. People have a tendency to think that they don't. And so being able to publicize that knowledge. I mean, we have more checkups from the health department than your average restaurant.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And people just don't realize that. They think that it's just like the Wild West, that we just show up and serve whatever we want. And it's absolutely not like that. It's very strict. We have so many different licenses from the health department. Just having people know that would be really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even that's on a smaller scale. So I guess that's just having some power and just Preskitt even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
I'm not sure I'd like to see it in America. I'm pretty happy with the way things are. But I will say some of the best food I've ever had is in Mexico, where somebody had turned half of their house into a little eatery. You just go there and you're served. There's no health department involved. There's no checkups. You just kind of look at the place, you see it's clean, and I choose to eat there. I would like that freedom potentially to be more widespread across the world. But I understand that America is different. People are really into safety. But I will say that I really appreciated being able to do stuff like that in Mexico. And like I said, it was some of the best food I ever had.
Nice.
If you eliminate the crazy overhead of starting a restaurant like they did in Mexico, you can produce great food at a low cost. So it's a little bit unacceptable to me that you're looking anywhere from $500,000 to over $1 million to start a restaurant because of adherence to various codes, such as fire safety and whatnot. And I do appreciate that, but it is cool also if you get to go to Mexico, try one of those, somebody's house basically that they turned into a restaurant.
Yeah.
Accessibility.
Say that again?
It's accessibility.
Accessibility, absolutely. Well, just on that note, are there any laws or any rules, anything that you have to deal with that seems like I wish I had known more about this going into this, or I wish I had more resources to deal with this, maybe even a whole nother person? Big warning signs. This is something you'll have to deal with if you're getting into the food cart business.
It's deceiving in that it looks manageable. The licensing and fees are pretty steep. The cart itself is much more expensive than you would think, et cetera, et cetera. Just do your research and know what you're getting into before you do something like this. And I'd say to all your viewers, if you want to start something like this, please reach out to us and feel free to ask any questions.
Where can they find you at?
Preskitt Eats, Preskitt, Eats, EATS, @gmail.com. Or you can call our business line. That's 928-793-6163. I am Vasily, and that's Alex.
Awesome. Anything you boys want to add?
No, we've covered quite a bit here in a few minutes.
Awesome. All good?
I think that's good for me, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much to everyone who hung out with us today, and I hope you got a lot out of it. Feel free to stay tuned. We're going to have plenty more interviews coming your way. Take care, everyone.